The talking, nagging, lucha watching, puro viewing, indie supporting, drinking, cursing, son of a gun of a podcast. Join former pro wrestler and promoter Dave Dynasty and co-host Ike Isaacs as they talk wrestling and interview those within the business, bringing positivity back to pro wrestling. This is the Dave Dynasty Show.
Greetings and welcome to the Dave Dynasty Show. This is a bonus episode.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, like a little extra gift that comes in the middle of the week. Or either that or it's a bad stomach bug that hits you after a good dinner. But anyway, I'm Dave Dynasty.
And I am Ike Isaacs.
Before we get into it, make sure you visit us at davedynasty.com for all of our social media, sponsor links, etc., etc. That's the hub where you can find it all. And this bonus episode will be our first in a very loose series that we'll do. We'll be dropping these every once in a while on different topics. And this one is a first of our top 5 lists.
Holla.
Each one of these top 5s we do will be just a list of various topics relating to wrestling. And these are purely just mine and Ike's personal opinions. That's all it is.
Possibly professional opinions.
I'm not paying you, so it makes you an amateur.
Fair enough.
But we would like to know whatever the topic might be. We would like to see your lists. We'd like to hear your opinions, not necessarily on what we pick, but we'd like to know what your top 5s are. So make sure you go on Twitter or on Facebook or on Instagram or wherever. Twitter is probably the best avenue. You can find me at the Dave Dynasty and Ike at Pint Size Beast. Tag us in that. Tell us your top 5 lists. Let's start some chat on this. Let's get talking. Let's hear what you think. And again, as we spoke of in an episode here not too long ago, it's all about positivity. No reaming anybody for their opinions. This is just what we like. Let's be respectful. So today's top 5 list is we're going to start in the obvious. This is our top 5 favorite wrestlers of all time. We will start with our number 5s and work our way to our number 1s.
Holla.
And we have no idea what is on each other's list, but we're going to discuss a little bit.
Yes, we are.
We probably, knowing each other as we do, we probably have some ideas of some names, but not necessarily where they rank. So let's jump right into it. Let's start with our top 5, our number 5s. Ike, who's your number 5?
King Kong Bundy.
King Kong Bundy.
Hell yeah!
I did not expect that name.
Yes, sir. So, all right, so you want me?
That's right. You're a fan of the big guys, aren't you? You like big guys.
No.
I love Bundy.
Yeah.
I always loved Bundy.
See, it's not all of them. Like, I mean, I like a lot of them. Earthquake, Avalanche. Those guys are pretty cool. Yokozuna's all right, but King Kong Bundy stuck out in my mind because let me start off. First of all, he was one of the first wrestlers I saw as a kid, and I remember.
So let me get you. You're talking mostly King Kong Bundy in the WWF.
Yeah. Obviously,
because he did have the territorial days before. He actually had long hair at one time.
Yeah, I remember that. I've seen pictures of that.
He worked Royal Class a lot with Fritz von Erich stuff. But
the
Bundy most guys know is the big guy, simple black singlet, shaved head, very intimidating, managed by Bobby Heenan in the WWE.
But
main event at WrestleMania 2.
That's what I was going to say.
Hogan. So
that's the one I remember. That's what I was going to say. It was WrestleMania 2 was one of the first things I saw because way back when I remember seeing it. I don't know where. But part of the reason I like King Kong Bundy.
Was it on a VHS?
It was on a VHS tape. I didn't want to date myself. I feel old by saying that.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, we should also denote before we do these top 5 lists that I am twice Ike's age.
Yeah.
So that will probably... The ironic thing is, though, you dropped a guy more from my era of watching.
Oh, yeah.
And I bet a lot of my names are guys... maybe not a lot of guys.
Yeah.
But it'll be weird to see because like Bundy, like that time period, I mean, I was 10, 11, 12 years old around WrestleMania 2. So that was right, when I was
that was in
really,
the prime time.
All right, go ahead, though.
But no, so King Kong Bundy, basically, big guy. He moved fairly well for a big guy, but he was also simple. There was not, like, some complexity to him where you had to be really, like, detailed to understand him. Black singlet,
you
that's
totally
it.
believe the old avalanche into the corner. That would hurt. I mean,
yeah.
That guy run into you. It's gonna
devastate you.
For at least... Do you remember the gimmick, though, where he always did where he wanted the 5 count?
Yes.
And he was so big and
He wanted the 5 count.
He wanted a 5 count instead of 3.
So that was one of the things, too, I loved because, he was one of the people that did that. And he was like, I want to make sure this motherfucker's down, and I'm going to prove it to you. So that's pretty much why I like King Kong Bundy.
So your number 5 is King Kong Bundy.
Yes, sir.
My number 5 is Roddy Piper.
That's a good one, Roddy.
I love Roddy Piper. Always loved Roddy Piper. In my opinion, one of, if not the best talker ever in wrestling. So he was so great.
Piper's Pit, man. Piper's Pit.
One of the best heels of all time. when he was face, it was okay, but he was always better as a heel. Busting coconuts over Jimmy Snuka's head, attacking Mr. T, tormenting Hulk Hogan. I will always stand that. In my opinion, the main event of WrestleMania 1 should have just been Piper Hogan. not, you know, I'm sure they had to tie in the celebrity. I get whatever, but yeah, Roddy Piper. To me, one of the guys that should have been a world champ somewhere, whether it been in WCW, WWE, never held a world title, should have. One of the more surprising deaths recently, that really hit me hard because a guy I always looked up to. So
rest in peace, Piper.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
When that bagpipe music hit, I'd mark out. I was all happy. So there you go. My number 5, Roddy Piper. Isaac's number 5 was King Kong Bundy. So Ike, what's your number 4?
Christopher Daniels.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
He's not on my list, but I love Christopher Daniels. One of my favorite guys current.
Well, see, like I was like, man, how old was I during? Well, I think it was like 12 or 13 when TNA became kind of big. One was Impact Wrestling, TNA Impact Wrestling, and Christopher Daniels was a pretty big stable of TNA, and that's why I first started watching him. And obviously, I stopped watching TNA after a while.
Please tell me you went back and watched some of his Ring of Honor.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, I've seen the first Ring of Honor pay-per-view, where I think it was pay-per-view, where it was him, the American Dragon, and Loki in the main event.
Yeah, it wasn't pay-per-view.
Okay, whatever it was. But I've seen that match, and that was like that was one of my first. Also, not my first exposure, but that was one of my earliest exposures there. So it's like just Christopher Daniels all over is fantastic. So,
you met him a couple times. Had your picture taken with him a couple times.
I have. I had a picture with him once, and then I had a picture with him and Kazarian. That was pretty good too.
Right. So that's your number 4.
Number 4.
My number 4. I'm dipping into the lucha, and it's Rey Mysterio Jr.
Ooh, that's a good choice.
Now, of course, there's a million and one, and I will say, well, he's my only kind of mass luchador on the list, which I know might be surprising to some people, but there are so many guys I could have put on the list. And the reason I went with Rey Jr. is because when I was really young, it was harder to watch lucha, but we had a satellite dish and we had the Spanish speaking channels because we had this big package, and I could watch it when I could catch it. But I had trouble figuring out when it was on and whatever else. But that's when I fell in love with Lucha Libre, right? And I watched every bit of it I could. I did a little bit of tape trading, got a little bit, saw a little bit of Ray from his early days. I heard about him. I think I've read about him in a few of the magazines, maybe. I don't know. But then when he came, I knew he was, but when he came to America, went to ECW, and I could first started seeing him, and then when he later went to WCW and so on, and I could first see him, to me it was like, oh, fuck, there's a luchador in America kicking ass, and he was just...
Kicking ass and taking names.
He was so different than everybody else. And to me, one of the guys that completely revolutionized and set the stage for the modern style wrestling, and kind of either helped break or did break that glass ceiling of you have to be a monster, you have to be 6'7" and 300 pounds, because he clearly wasn't. But
no. So
I had to go with Ray, just because how cool it was when he broke big in America and started opening. I think he started opening that door for the lucha exposure in America in my eyes, obviously. So
definitely, I agree.
And how I think he's helped change wrestling so much, and I just think he is literally one of those 1 in a million talents guys. So that's my number 4.
Plus, he's still wrestling today.
Sure is. He's still great.
Still going strong.
Still great. So what's your number 3?
Number 3, this one's he's a luchador. It's Eddie Guerrero. I had to put him on the list because Eddie Guerrero was one of those people I grew up with. I used to have a CD of theme musics, and I would listen to his. And when I was a kid, I'd do the whole wrestling come out as an entrance to his music. Latino.
Eddie's amazing. Eddie is amazing.
God rest his soul. And I remember I was young when he died too. And that was always hard because I was like, oh, I miss Eddie Guerrero, and I didn't understand, but obviously now I do. But it was really rough because Eddie Guerrero was one of my favorites.
The whole Guerrero family is amazing, but Eddie was just remarkable. So that's what is that, number 3?
Number 3.
My number 3, Bruiser Brody.
It's a good choice.
Yeah, because when I was a kid...
Don't go in the shower.
Bruiser Brody... Oh, no. No jokes.
No jokes.
Speaking of, though, that will be we are going to have a future episode where we are going to discuss the death of Bruiser Brody.
We will.
But when I was a kid, Bruiser was the closest thing to a truly independent wrestler that there was. The guy went everywhere, wherever they'd pay him, but didn't really sell out and sign contracts with the big company and get locked down. But he sold out wherever he went. He did whatever the hell he wanted. He was scary. He's literally one of those guys. He was so well educated, though. If you see interviews where he's out of character, but he was truly one of those guys you thought would just kill you.
Oh yeah.
But one of the best, I think, the best brawler of all time. Just amazing, Bruiser Brody. So we're up to
number 2.
Number 2. Who's your number 2?
Kerry Von Erich.
Kerry
Von Erich.
That's I figured there'd be a Von Erich on your list. So
Yeah, I have a.
obviously Kerry had the biggest exposure success.
I wanted to just put the Von Erichs, but I like them all. I think they're all fantastic
This has to be
talents.
singular because we might in future we'll do tag teams. We might do families. We might do who knows what we'll do, stables. But so yeah, okay. So Kerry,
So Kerry Von Erich. So I mean, first of all, I interviewed Ross and Marshall Von Erich, so it was nice getting to meet them, his nephews. But it's also I have kind of a weird obsession with the Von Erich
like
family.
The whole story of the family.
I like history. I used to be a history major, so it's like learning about them, knowing all about that is awesome. But Kerry Von Erich also, something that always killed me was that he lost his foot in like 1986, but that was before the peak of his career.
Yep.
So he outperformed so many people with one foot.
That was before he was in WWF, Intercontinental Champion WWF.
I mean, if he can do that, he deserves he deserves a spot on my list. So you're probably thinking, who's going to be my number 1?
I have an idea, possibly. Is it another tragic story? Anyway,
Yes.
my number 2, I think I know who it is. My number 2 is Randy Savage.
The Macho Man.
Because
Randy Savage.
when I was a kid, and I was never a big fan of the Macho King, and when he really started wearing the neon and stuff, I was the sequined robe, the Macho and Elizabeth. For my money, Macho Man circa WrestleMania 3, WrestleMania 4, it was amazing. That match he had with Ricky Steamboat and then him winning the tournament and becoming world champ, it was remarkable. And he's such a talent in all capacities. Just great. He was awesome. One of my favorites. Always has been, always will be.
My favorite wrestler to impersonate.
Yeah. Well, lots of people do.
Snap into a Slim Jim.
All right, and we're ready for number 1s.
So I want to hear your guess who my number 1 is.
I bet you know who my number 1 is.
Yours is Eddie Guerrero.
Mine's Eddie Guerrero. My number 1 is Eddie Guerrero. That's why I didn't say much when you spoke to Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero, to me, my favorite, the best talent ever in wrestling, probably will ever be.
Agreed.
So sorely missed. I would love to see, even if he, at this stage, he'd be older, I would love to see what his capacity in wrestling would be now and what he'd be doing.
Oh, I bet it'd still be the same.
Oh, he might. I mean,
That-
but
that
I'm just
dude's
saying
a
that
beast.
the stuff he could do, outside, even beyond his wrestling career, what it would have been. But Eddie will always be my favorite. I'm wearing an Eddie Guerrero shirt right now as we tape this. So
Rest in peace, Eddie.
And I'm guessing that your number 1 is his buddy Chris Benoit.
Absolutely.
Yep.
The
name that most people will not speak.
See, that's the thing. It's for me. There might be controversy, but to me,
But
Chris,
we're not talking about any of that.
Yeah.
We're purely talking about his wrestling career, his in-ring career, and the fact that I'm guessing when he was at his hottest in-ring is when you were at your peak of fandom.
Yep. That was when I really started watching wrestling. Was during around WrestleMania 20, when he was
clearly a great talent in the ring.
Oh God, I think hands
Obviously,
down best
we
technical
are in
wrestler
no
of
way
all time.
supporting
Yeah.
everything that happened and whatever else. And I'm not speaking anything about any of that. To me, it's a topic. There's too much controversy, too much.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's too much there for me. And I wasn't there in the situation around people to know. So it's not something I feel I can comfortably speak on. It's a horrible, horrible thing, obviously, because people lost their lives.
Exactly.
And but we're speaking purely on in-ring career.
Yep.
So,
but I just think Chris Benoit was just. I mean, he like I said, he was during the peak of when I was like first watching wrestling, when I first really got into it. He was huge. He was in WWE. He was around WrestleMania 20. My favorite match of all time would probably be his match at WrestleMania 20, that triple threat match, where he won the heavyweight championship and Eddie came out and they were crying in the ring. Like that's one of those moments like I still watch and I still tear up at.
Because Eddie was champ too.
I mean, Eddie was champ. He defended that night against who was he?
Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle. So it's fantastic.
So our number ones right there.
We're best friends.
We're in the ring celebrating at WrestleMania 20 together. So,
but hands down, I think he's one of the best technical wrestlers of all time. And
he was intimidating looking too. So he's
broke Sabu's neck.
That was purely or was a true badass. So
I mean, he broke Sabu's neck. So
yeah, well, Sabu breaks Sabu's neck.
Yeah, I was gonna say
he's the biggest threat to himself. But
true.
I love Sabu. Don't get me wrong, but he was kind of the innovator of that dangerous style of let's lay the body out. Okay, well let me say this: the innovator in America of bringing it to America, because people in other countries have been doing stuff like that. So that concludes our top 5 list.
Absolutely.
And like we said, we'd like to hear your top 5. So send us a tweet or whatever. Let us know what they are. We'd love to have a discussion with you. And just tag us in the tweets. Yeah. So that's been our top 5 bonus episode.
Yes,
top 5 of our favorite wrestlers. And as always, you can catch us every Monday when the new episodes drop. When this, so make sure you check that out. Subscribe to us, share, like. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you on Monday.